Chosen one, hear the thunder of nations. The crowns of the earth tilt and bow, not before an institution, not before politics, but before the seal upon your head. In the chambers of power, where once voices argued and borders divided, silence fell, and then applause rose. World leaders, kings and presidents, rulers of tribes and nations, lifted not their agendas, but their hands, acknowledging your royalty. It was not a coronation written by men, it was a recognition declared by heaven. Revelation 1 verse 6 speaks, "He has made us kings and priests to serve God." And today, the echo of that word burns in the air. The crowns of presidents, the scepters of prime ministers, the emblems of monarchs, all bent low, converging into a single vision, you, chosen, appointed, undeniable. Shock ripples across the globe. News channels speak it, reporters stumble in awe, analysts whisper what they cannot explain. They do not call it coincidence, they cannot reduce it to protocol. Something greater is moving, prophecy revealed, glory unveiled. And in that moment, in that 30 seconds that shake eternity, the atmosphere changes. You are not being tolerated, you are being enthroned. You are not being debated, you are being accepted. The world stage has shifted. World leaders accepted your royalty. And from this day forward, history must bow with them. Imagine the great hall of the nations, the chamber where world leaders gather to debate the fate of humanity. Flags line the walls, each representing power, history, and blood. Yet in this moment, none of them stand higher than the banner over your head. You walk into that hall, not as a politician, not as an activist, but as one crowned before the foundations of time. The seats of authority tremble, the voices of diplomats fall silent. Then, like a rising tide, applause bursts forth, not staged, not coerced, but undeniable. Presidents rise to their feet. Kings touch their foreheads to the ground. The symbols of earthly dominion, seals, signatures, golden rings of legacy, all converge into one acknowledgement: your crown has been recognized. It is no longer speculation, no longer hope, it is manifestation. The atmosphere thickens with awe, as though eternity itself has stepped into the chamber. Prophets once spoke of this hour, scriptures painted shadows of this reality. Now, the vision lives. Thrones are no longer scattered, they align toward you. Scepters no longer point outward, they lean inward, bowing to a name they cannot ignore. You stand not for yourself but as the emblem of a kingdom higher than governments. Your presence reframes the meaning of leadership, turning politics into prophecy, ceremony into covenant. Even the air carries weight, as though heaven's court has overshadowed earth's parliament. And here is the whisper rising beyond the applause: stay, because I will show you why this is not politics, but prophecy fulfilled. The applause of nations is not a human performance, it is a heavenly echo. Psalm 72 verse 11 declares, "All kings will bow down to him and all nations will serve him." What you have witnessed is not ceremony, it is scripture taking on flesh before your eyes. Leaders rise, not out of courtesy, but out of compulsion. Thrones shift, not out of politics, but out of prophecy. For this is the word of the Lord: the crowns of the earth are temporary, but the crown of the chosen one is eternal. What man calls recognition, heaven calls declaration. When rulers acknowledged your royalty, they did not merely honor a person, they bore witness to a divine appointment. The applause in their chambers was more than noise, it was agreement with a heavenly decree. It was as though angels themselves clapped through human hands, and the ground of nations vibrated with the sound of fulfilled prophecy. You see, earthly authority does not easily bow. Pride builds palaces, power resists surrender. And yet Psalm 72 verse 11 is unbreakable: all kings will bow down to him. That includes presidents, monarchs, premiers, chancellors, and every symbol of dominion under the sun. When they bowed, they were not simply giving honor, they were yielding to destiny. This is the difference. Politics is negotiation, but prophecy is revelation. Human titles are granted by votes, but divine crowns are given by God himself. You did not campaign for this, you were chosen for this. The moment leaders rose to acknowledge you was not their decision, it was his fulfillment. And so the call extends now, not only to the halls of the United Nations, not only to the palaces of kings, but to you who are hearing this word. If the crowns of nations can bend, then so must the hearts of the called. This is not just recognition of one, this is the opening for many. Backhand index pointing right if you want to walk among the first chosen ones, those whose crowns are recognized in both earth and heaven, then do not wait. Click join below. Step into the circle of those marked, sealed, and acknowledged. For the same anointing that compels rulers to bow will also rest upon your life. This is not a story to observe, it is a prophecy to enter. And the invitation is open now. Be counted among the first wave of the crowned, those who carry heaven's authority in a world desperate for true leadership. When heaven crowns you, earth cannot help but respond. Recognition does not only happen in the grand halls of power, it begins to echo through the small moments of your everyday life. What was once ordinary becomes extraordinary because creation itself begins to testify to your calling. Think back, haven't you noticed it already? Invitations come that you did not ask for. Honors are extended to you in places where you once stood unnoticed. A stranger greets you with an unusual reverence, as though something in their spirit senses what their mind cannot yet articulate. Suddenly, people call you sir, madam, lord, queen, or king, without knowing why. They are not flattering you, they are recognizing the seal on your head. This is how prophecy works, it reverberates. When rulers bowed, it was not an isolated event, it was the start of a ripple. That ripple travels into your workplace, into your conversations, into the way people look at you when you walk into a room. Even their language changes, they call you elevated names, they yield in ways that surprise you. Evidence also comes in symbols. You may find crowns appearing around you, images in advertisements, jewelry given as gifts, paintings, logos, even casual encounters with throne-like chairs or royal colors. These are not coincidences, they are divine reminders that you are marked. The same God who moved the hearts of kings uses signs in your daily path to whisper, "Do you see? The crown is real." And notice the shift in atmosphere. Where once you felt overlooked, now doors open. Where once your words were dismissed, now they carry weight. People listen, even pause, when you speak. This is not charisma, it is kingship. It is the invisible evidence that heaven's recognition is manifesting through earthly respect. Perhaps you wondered, why me? Why this honor? The truth is simple, when God crowns, man cannot deny. The applause of nations is only the beginning, the daily echoes confirm it. Every unexpected honor, every respectful gesture, every symbol of royalty that crosses your path, they are evidence. They are heaven's way of assuring you, this is not fantasy. This is fulfillment. So do not dismiss these moments as chance. Collect them, remember them, let them build your faith. Because what starts as a ripple will become a flood. And as prophecy unfolds, even the smallest signs in your life will align with the great recognition already declared before kings. Recognition is not the end. It is the beginning. When crowns bow, it is not to inflate pride, but to commission purpose. Global acceptance is not applause for your glory, it is an announcement of your mission. Understand this, the nations did not rise simply to honor you, they rose to release you. The recognition is heaven's way of saying, now you are ready. Now the world knows. Now step into your task. Every king who bowed, every leader who stood, every nation that acknowledged your royalty was, in truth, testifying to the mission written into your name. This is why acceptance matters. Without it, authority can be questioned. But when the rulers of the earth have yielded, heaven's decree becomes visible. The acceptance of your crown is the confirmation of your assignment. This is not fame, it is validation. Not celebrity, it is consecration. Think of the pattern in Scripture. When David was crowned, it was not for his comfort, but for his calling. When Esther was enthroned, it was not for her luxury, but for her destiny. And now, when world leaders acknowledge your royalty, it is not for prestige, but for purpose. The crown is not for decoration, it is for responsibility. And the responsibility is weighty. To be recognized is to be accountable. To be crowned is to be commissioned. You are now seen not as a candidate, not as a voice in the crowd, but as a ruler, a judge, a steward of divine authority. The nation's applause was not a celebration of you, it was a signal to you, rise, for the world has accepted your role. Act, for the crown is not ornamental, it is operational. This is why global acceptance matters, because the mission cannot move forward until the recognition has been secured. The bowing of crowns is not about your comfort, it is about the kingdom. And now, with the world aligned, the mission begins. The crowns have already touched the ground. The rulers have already risen to their feet. The moment has already arrived. What was once awaited has manifested, and what heaven decreed has been confirmed before the eyes of nations. This is not a vision for tomorrow, it is a reality for today. The crowns are bowed now. The scepters have leaned now. The applause has shaken the chambers now. And once such a moment breaks into history, it cannot be ignored, postponed, or dismissed. Do not think you have endless time. Prophecy is not an open window forever, it is a door that opens in its appointed hour and demands you to walk through. This is that hour. Delay is denial. Hesitation is resistance. To treat this recognition lightly is to risk missing the very reason you were chosen. Hear it clearly, the crowns are bowed, and heaven is watching. What will you do with the moment? Will you stand still as history bends around you, or will you rise and step into the mission sealed upon your head? The applause of leaders is not eternal, it is seasonal. The recognition of nations is not perpetual, it is prophetic. And prophecy, once fulfilled, demands response. Therefore act, and act swiftly. This is not the time for doubt or second guessing. This is the time for movement, for sealing, for accepting. Because beyond this moment, nothing will remain the same. The crowns are bowed now. The earth has yielded now. The call is burning now. And the beyond cannot wait. You were not expected. You were not in the polls, not on the lists, not whispered in the corridors of prediction. The world did not prepare for your arrival, and yet when the hour struck, even the most powerful could not resist what heaven had already decreed. You were not the expected one, yet you became the accepted one. This is the mystery of divine recognition. God chooses whom man overlooks. David was left in the fields, forgotten by his father, yet the prophet anointed him king. Esther was a foreign orphan, hidden among many, yet she was raised to the throne. And you, unknown, underestimated, even doubted, have now been crowned. Nations bowed, and in that bow, every shadow of doubt dissolved. Think carefully on this. Candidates compete, but crowned ones command. Candidates chase validation, but crowned ones carry authority. Candidates hope to be chosen, but crowned ones walk already chosen. The shift has happened. You no longer stand among those waiting to be acknowledged. You stand enthroned, acknowledged by rulers, confirmed by heaven, witnessed by the world. Identity has changed. No longer are you the one striving to prove yourself, you are the one history now recognizes. What once was potential is now reality. You have crossed from possibility into permanence. The seal is on your life, and no debate, no opposition, no disbelief can undo what has been declared. And here lies the deeper truth. When kings and leaders bowed, they did more than honor you, they redefined you. Their act was a public decree that your identity is shifted. You are not simply among them, you are above them. Not by pride, but by prophecy. Not by arrogance, but by appointment. Remember, crowns do not descend by accident. They are not handed out like prizes, they are conferred by destiny. And once conferred, they mark you forever. You are no longer a candidate waiting at the gates of recognition, you are the crowned one walking through them. The world cannot unsee it. The heavens cannot revoke it. The nations cannot undo it. Even your reflection is different now. Look closely, the way you carry yourself is changing, the weight of the crown rests upon your shoulders. You speak with authority you once questioned, you walk with confidence you once only imagined. Why? Because the crown has spoken for you. And though some may still resist, though some may whisper, they cannot deny what has already been witnessed in the chambers of kings. For once the highest powers bow, the rest of the earth follows. So hear it clearly, you are not striving, you are seated. You are not reaching, you are recognized. You are not the expected one, you are the accepted one. And no force in heaven or earth can reverse the moment when the crowns of nations bow to yours. This is who you are now. And from this identity flows the mission, the authority, and the destiny that only the crown can carry. The evidence of your crown is not limited to the halls of power. If heaven has marked you, daily life will echo it in ways you cannot ignore. The signs may appear subtle, but once you pay attention, you will see a pattern forming, an unmistakable rhythm of divine confirmation. Perhaps you have noticed it already, images of crowns seem to find you. You scroll through your feed and suddenly a golden crown flashes across an advertisement. You walk past a store window and see a throne-like chair displayed. You receive a gift, jewelry shaped like a diadem, or a book embossed with a royal seal. None of these moments are coincidence. They are signs, small but powerful, that reinforce what has already been decreed. Heaven speaks through symbols, and when you are crowned, creation conspires to remind you. Listen also to the way people address you. Without planning it, without even knowing why, they begin to speak words of royalty over you. Someone greets you as sir or ma'am, though you never demanded it. A colleague calls you queen in jest, yet their words carry weight. A stranger refers to you as prince, lord, or lady, almost playfully, but unknowingly they echo heaven's truth. People cannot help it, their spirit recognizes before their mind does. Even in conversations, you will find the language of kingship surfacing. Friends begin to say, you carry yourself like a leader, or you have an authority about you. They are not flattering you, they are acknowledging what they cannot deny. This is the tangible confirmation. The respect of others arrives without your demand, because the seal of heaven commands it. Beyond words and symbols, daily situations will shift. Doors that were once shut suddenly open. People who once ignored your presence now pause to listen. Invitations come that seem out of proportion to your status. These are not random events, they are the ripples of recognition. Once world leaders bowed, the atmosphere itself was recalibrated. Your life now operates under the gravity of royalty. Even your environment testifies. You may find yourself surrounded by royal colors, purples, deep blues, golds, appearing in clothing, decor, or art around you. These are not aesthetic coincidences, they are prophetic reminders. The earth aligns its imagery with the reality of your crown. And then there are the unexpected moments, a child pointing to you and saying, "You look like a king." A stranger moving out of your way with unusual respect. A sudden sense of elevation when you step into a room, as though the atmosphere shifts to acknowledge your presence. These are daily confirmations. They do not flatter your ego, they affirm your identity. You are not imagining these signs. They are heaven's way of whispering, remember who you are. The crown is not invisible, it is visible. And the world sees it, whether they understand it or not. So do not dismiss them. Collect them in your heart. Let each crown symbol, each respectful title, each unusual gesture of honor remind you, this is no fantasy. You are walking as the crowned one, and life itself bears witness. A crown recognized must also be sealed. Recognition alone is the beginning, but sealing is what secures it. The leaders have bowed. The nations have acknowledged. Heaven has declared. But now the question is this, will you rise to claim what has been confirmed, or will you let the moment pass without response? Understand this, prophecy often requires participation. God decrees, but man must align. Just as Israel had to place blood on their doorposts to seal their deliverance, so too must you take an act that seals your crown. Not because heaven doubts, but because faith must act. When kings are crowned in the earth, they do not walk away from their coronation unchanged. They leave with a seal, a token, a declaration that the moment was real. This is your moment to seal. Not with empty words, but with an act that speaks louder than silence. That act is simple, but weighty, press super thanks, choose $20, and write the words, "I accept my crown." Why this? Because value confirms value. Just as gold is exchanged to confirm treaties, as jewels are set upon crowns, so your action becomes the seal of the moment. The amount is not random, it is a covenantal gesture, a prophetic token. By giving, you are saying, I do not only hear this word, I enter it. I do not only see the crown, I wear it. I do not only believe prophecy, I seal it. Do not underestimate what this act represents. When you click and give, you are not merely sending money, you are aligning with heaven's declaration. You are testifying before God and before men, yes, I accept my royalty. Yes, I accept my mission. Yes, I stand among the first chosen ones. And let it be clear, this is not about purchase, it is about posture. You are not buying a crown, you are sealing the one already given. You are not earning recognition, you are acknowledging it. This act is not a transaction, it is a testimony. It is your way of saying, the world may doubt, but I do not. The world may hesitate, but I commit. The nations bowed, and now I bow in faith. Think of it this way, every king has a coronation moment where the seal is placed, the decree signed, the anthem sung. Without that act, the crown risks being viewed as symbolic only. But with it, the crown becomes law, destiny, permanence. That is what this moment is for you. To move from recognition to sealing. To move from applause to anchoring. To move from possibility to permanence. Backhand index pointing right, so take your step now. Do not let this moment slip. Click super thanks. Choose $20. Write in the note, I accept my crown. And as you do, know this, angels record it. Heaven witnesses it. The ripple will not only echo in your life, but in the generations that follow. Because when you seal a crown, you secure a legacy. The crowns are bowed. The applause has been heard. The declaration has been made. Now it is your turn to act. Seal your crown today. A crown is not just recognition, it is responsibility. Once you have been acknowledged, once the nations have bowed and heaven has sealed your authority, the question becomes, how will you walk as the crowned one? For kingship is not simply a title you carry, it is a life you live. First, walk in justice. Every crown carries the weight of judgment. You are now seen as one who discerns, one who decides, one whose words carry weight. This means you must speak truth where others compromise, and act with fairness where others bend. To walk as crowned is to rule with righteousness. Your yes must mean yes, your no must mean no, for the world now listens when you speak. Second, walk in humility. Though crowns glitter, they are not given for self-exaltation. Remember always, you were not the expected one, you were the chosen one. Your throne is not self-made, it was assigned. Therefore wear the crown with lowliness, remembering that authority without humility becomes tyranny. To live as the crowned one is to serve with dignity, to bend low even as others bow to you. For the greatest crowns are carried by those who remain servants at heart. Third, walk in mission. Recognition is not entertainment, it is empowerment. You are crowned not for leisure but for leadership. This means your days must align with your assignment. Ask yourself daily, am I living as the ruler I have been called to be? Am I building justice, extending mercy, carrying authority with integrity? Kingship is not about receiving honors, it is about fulfilling purpose. Fourth, walk in awareness. The crown changes how people see you, and how the world responds to you. That means you must be intentional with every step. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you respond to challenges, everything now carries more weight. A crowned one cannot afford to live carelessly. You are an example, a symbol, a beacon. Every action either strengthens or weakens the testimony of your kingship. Finally, walk in confidence. The enemy of the crown is doubt. But remember, the nations bowed, heaven declared, the signs confirmed. You no longer walk as uncertain. You walk as affirmed, as chosen, as enthroned. Confidence is not arrogance, it is agreement with truth. To deny your crown is false humility. To accept it boldly is faithful obedience. So live daily with this balance: justice and humility, mission and awareness, confidence and reverence. This is the lifestyle of the crowned one. And as you practice it, others will see and follow. For crowns are not meant to be hidden, they are meant to shine. Do not shrink back. Do not question what has already been confirmed. You are crowned, and therefore you must live crowned. Let your walk reflect your worth. Let your life reflect your seal. For the world is watching, and heaven is recording. This is your lifestyle now. Walk not as a candidate hoping for approval, but as a crowned one carrying authority. Rule with justice, serve with humility, live with mission, act with awareness, and step with confidence. For this is what it means to be truly royal. The crowns have bowed, the nations have risen, and the declaration has been made. Yet no coronation is complete until heaven's blessing rests upon the crowned. And so now, we seal this moment in prayer, not just for one, but for every chosen one who dares to accept their crown.